Hello everyone, today we will be learning about Martha Rosler's work on feminism. Martha Rosler was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1943. Growing up, Rosler spent most of her time in California from 1968 to 1980. She first lived in San Diego County and then in San Francisco. Throughout her life, she has also lived and taught in Canada. She graduated from Erasmus Hall High School in Brooklyn and Brooklyn College in 1965. And the University of California, San Diego in 1974. However, she has lived in New York City since 1981. She's taught photography and media, photo and video history, and critical studies at Rutgers University in New Brunswick, New Jersey, where she was a professor for 30 years and got the rank of Professor II. She also taught at the Stadtschule in Frankfurt, Germany, and served as the visiting professor at the University of California, San Diego, and Irvine campuses, and a few other schools as well. She has published over 16 books of her artwork and her critical essays on art, photography, and cultural matters. As far as materials go, Martha Rosler continues to work with photography and phototext, video installation, sculpture, and performance, and writes about art and culture as well. The main idea behind the artwork is focusing on political issues such as war or injustices like feminism, to name a few. But she makes it so her work challenges the viewer to make it more personal and not just go off of what others are saying or what is written about it. She wants the viewer to pay attention to what is happening, even if it is not occurring within their own life or surroundings, and to consider the role that the media has in controlling how we perceive worldwide events. Her influence is mainly the human body, war, injustice of people all over, politics, as well as feminism, and how people assign roles to women stereotypically. Specifically, roles given to women in the home, as in the kitchen. The artist is responding to our time and location by adapting to what the current trends are, such as what the bad habits of women are at the current moment, as well as political issues and trending current events that are going on. And not only makes us view these issues, but makes us envelop ourselves in the issues as if it was happening to us or near us instead of just around us. Some identifying qualities of the artist's styles are stereotypical women's roles, the shadowed side of society, and how we tend to try and conform to these shadows. Over time, the artist's work has stayed pretty consistent as far as the materials she worked with, but has changed by the issues she is focusing on at the time. Back in the 70s through the mid-90s, she focused more on feminism and wars that were going on. However, today, she seems to focus more on the human body since media everywhere has their own take and opinions over it, as well as politics and how not everyone seems to be seeing eye to eye, mainly over our most recently elected president. As far as criticism on her work goes, it goes half and half, some good and some bad. Some critics were glad her work was being showcased since most women artists are underrepresented, but some critique some of her collages as undermining the artist's message for feminism. However, some critics call her piece, Great Power, pretty war porn, since all she really did was try and recreate one of her old pieces, Bringing the War Home, House Beautiful. Some critics have even called her work mediocre, saying her work fetishizes the 60s, but the 60s are no longer significant, and the page needs to be turned. Some interdisciplinary connections that can be made with their work are that of what is going on around us as far as war, politics, and women's issues. Something I find interesting about her work is her ability for the work to basically speak for itself, and how one needs to really pay attention to the issue being addressed and actually immerse yourself into the work to fully take it all and interpret it. It isn't obvious, but it's not brain-wrecking, where you can't make out the story behind the art. It speaks out for real-life issues, yet in an artistic way without having to use words. It really does give a new meaning to a picture is worth 1,000 words. Some pieces that she has created are Body Beautiful or Beauty Knows No Pain, Hot House or Harem, which was made in the Vietnam era and undermined the artist's feminist message and didn't defetishize the object quality of the photographed nude models, as a critique of contemporary pornographic display and politics of representation in general, and it became another slick commodification of the radical past. Bringing the War Home, House Beautiful, 1967 to 1972, she reassembled images from life House Beautiful, and other American magazines inserted images of U.S. military in Vietnam and then rephotographed them. The result was a collage of mutilated Vietnamese war victims and models surrounded by luxe designer furniture. Cut-out images displaced and photographs would be introduced again. Semiotics of the Kitchen, 1975, a 6-minute performance by Rosler where she takes on the role of a housewife wearing an apron and essentially does a parody of the television cooking demos that were done by Julia Child in the 1960s. She stands in a kitchen surrounded by kitchen appliances, refrigerator table, stove. She moves through the alphabet from A to Z, assigning a letter to each of the tools that can be found within a kitchen. She wields knives, a nutcracker, and a rolling pin. At first, going about it casually, but then her gestures are sharply punctuating the rage and frustration of oppressive women's roles. Rosler said of this work, "I was concerned with something like the notion of language speaking the subject, and with the transformation of the woman herself into a sign in a system of signs that represent a system of food production, a system of harnessed subjectivity."